Right, welcome back. And if you see me smiling so much, just know that I'm sitting next to very powerful ladies, and I will be introducing them. So you can also see them and see why I'm smiling in a little while. But this is what we are having. We've just had a conversation with Isabel on what it is like to have partnerships in the country and what this is doing to the lives of young people in Kenya and in Africa and in the world at large. So right now, I want us to take a look at the execution and what really happens on ground. What is it like to have a mentor, or what is it like to have this initiative, Top Talent Agency, the mentors, the trainers? What do they really go through in terms of mentoring these young people, training them, and everything in between? So joining us is a team of very powerful ladies. If you are a lady, you know I'm a ladies person. So this is a team of powerful ladies who are going to be talking to us about the execution of empowerment to the young people in the global south and in the world in general. I'll begin from Flossie. Kindly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you. My name is Floss Njama. I am a critical care nurse. I am a best-selling author. I have a business that I call Simple Life Healthy U LLC, where we do everything simple. I am also a wellness coach. I also empower people how to live a simple, healthier life through my program that I call GPS to a Healthier You Lifestyle, where we talk about how to live every day healthy, simple, and don't get overwhelmed. I see a lot of transformation in that. I have a wellness beverage that I call Flossie's Turmeric Tea, which is a brand and is a trademark. It's helping a lot of people with their pain, inflammation, boosting their immune system, and so much more. I love wellness, just to say the least.
All right. Thank you so much, Justin.
Hello, I am Justine Reese with the Empowered Voice. And I have to say, Flossie forgot to mention something very important, is that she is from Kenya. So I had to throw that in because we are a sisterhood, and we like to lock arms and remind each other if we left something out. So the Empowered Voice, I'm a voiceover talent and a voiceover coach. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I record audiobooks and commercials. And I've been doing that for 20 to 30 years, believe it or not. And the industry has changed rapidly and a lot. But the most important thing that I do is coach people to have more authenticity and truth in their voice. And when they do this, I realize not just behind a microphone, they're building confidence. And one of the things that I have realized is confidence doesn't come before you start something, but that's exactly why people often don't start something, because they are like, I'm not ready. It's not time. I need to be more confident. But doing the thing is what's going to bring the confidence. And I realized that the voice is something you take with you everywhere you go. You had it since the moment you were born. And we start using it to get what we need. And then at a certain point, we may feel shut down. And it's become more aware to me that women often feel shut down for various reasons by a teacher that didn't mean to shut you down, but said that story's no good or that performance isn't good. I had an experience where I was not allowed to be in a school play in 5th grade because my grades weren't good enough. And something as simple as that could teach me that I'm not smart and I can't be creative, so I'll just be pretty. And honestly, that is what my story was until about sophomore year, till someone said, my mother said, go to drama camp. And I was like, I want to go to drama camp. I don't want to be a weird drama person. And she said, no, go. You can come home if you hate it. I was like, okay, I'll go. And guess what? I never wanted to come home. I started to find my voice. I started to feel okay expressing myself. And it changed the trajectory of everything I did after that. So here in Africa, I have become aware that women have a role to play. And that's been decades and years and years and years, but it's changing. And there's more empowerment, but there's ways that we can empower our young women to get to a place like Kenyatta University and be able to learn, become educated. Right now, 11% of girls in Kenya are going to secondary school for one simple reason, because they have a menstrual cycle. And that's natural. That's part of how we give birth to ideas and actual life. But because of this, they drop out of school because they don't have proper hygiene and they don't have places to change and they don't have what they need, they're not empowered because maybe their mothers didn't know how to teach them or they didn't have it either. So it becomes normalized. And what we have found is, and I've been told, and now it's been verified, that young girls often are even prostituted to get the things they need, to get the pads. So I spoke from a stage a year ago. I got to go to Tanzania, and we brought reusable pads. I was coming to Kenya on this tour. I was so honored to be asked to come with David and Isabel. And I knew I wanted this to be my initiative, but I didn't have what I needed. And so I spoke what I needed. And this is a true empowerment, how we manifest the things we need. And I got connected with a woman called Christine from KUTV.org.
Okay, you'll talk to us about that
we'll
a
hold.
little bit later.
We'll hold.
But
Yes.
first, let's get to
Yes,
the
thank you.
idea.
Thank you for all that
Kylie,
stage time, my dear.
Kindly introduce yourself to us.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Colette Wayne. I am the CEO of Oceans of Grace, and I also work directly with top talent, sourcing talent from Kenyatta University and all over Kenya to bring talent back to the United States and globally. My background is actually in helping animals and helping the environment thrive. And quite some time ago, I lost my own wellness. And I realized that my background in animal wellness and environmental wellness also applied to our own wellness. And so wellness matters to me a lot. And what I realized is that my purpose in life is to help other people live in their purpose and to find their true light and to live in their zone of genius and to reach their highest potential. And so that's something that I absolutely love to do, but I help humans, animals, and the earth all thrive together. And in doing so, I help create a more resilient ecosystem, helping communities be resilient, helping individuals be resilient, and really thrive in who they are. What I am so honored to be here about is just to see the beautiful Kenyan people and watch how they are thriving, even in spite of hard things going on. So
Alright.
thank you for having us.
That's beautiful. Now that we are still on you and you've talked about your love for sustainability in terms of how humans and animals thrive together in a peaceful coexistence. So when it comes to helping the young people under Top Talent Agency, how do you identify that, okay, this person needs this kind of a solution and not pushing something that they probably don't want for themselves? How do you identify the difference between, okay, this is someone who is suffering and this is the kind of help they need, without coming out as bothering them with what they really don't require?
That is such a good question. Often we can walk into a situation and assume we know best. But the truth is, the individual knows best. And with just asking questions and listening to their answers, we can often guide them in a path and maybe open their eyes to things that they haven't considered before. But truly, your soul knows what is best for you. And I've experienced people telling me what I should do, call it shoulding on you. And that's not really what was best for me. And I knew deep down, but I didn't trust my own intuition. So one of the things that I really like to help people do is to build their own intuition and to see something in them that they might not see for themselves. So I have a different lens, and perhaps I can look through my lens and say, oh, I see this for you. Does that feel true for you? And that's something that I've experienced can be really helpful, but also just allowing people to be seen for who they really are and to identify what their gifts are and to see like, hey, I noticed that you're really good at this, or you have a lot of skill in this, or maybe you could advance a little bit more if you honed this skill over here. One of the things that I think that we often focus on is our tangible skills, like, oh, I'm a journalist, or oh, I'm a author, or oh, I have all of that. I am an author and speaker and a coach and all of that. But one of the things that helps set people apart is the character of who they are. And sometimes we forget about that. We forget about the integrity. the who we are when no one's watching, or the communication that's essential to be able to have a global role. Like we have Kenyan students or recent graduates from Kenyatta University that have amazing opportunities with Top Talent Agency because they've honed those, we call them soft skills, but they're not. They're really important skills, that communication, that trust. Like when we work internationally, we can't watch you every day. We don't, you're working remotely from Kenya and we're in the United States and there's a big time difference. So we have to be able to trust that what you're doing is the right thing. And so to be able to build that up in people, to be able to help them recognize what values they hold dear to themselves, and then to help align that with their purpose and give them the foundation of wellness, like physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual wellness, all of those together. That's how we help them become their highest potential and live in that every single day.
All right, that's beautiful. Let me come to you, Flossie. You also deal with wellness. And this is probably from what you've gone through in terms of overcoming autoimmune
disease.
So you deal with wellness and care, and it's so dear to you. So when it comes to helping young people, what drives you to, I'm seeing this person, she's suffering or he's suffering and they need my help. What drives you to that?
That's a great question, because that's why I zone in and I look at the young people and I see what they have and what they don't have. And sometimes, actually, most of the times, they have it right there in front of their hands, in front of their eyes, and they happen not to be aware. Reason being, they might not have the facilities, the amenities. They may not have the knowledge. They might not have the information. That's one thing I bring to the people. I bring it to them because I never had it. I bring it to them because I know knowledge is health. Knowledge is information. And with all that, it can turn that into wellness. So I bring it in terms of information, support, love, doing what I'm doing here back home, by also giving the support and my energy. I want to bring that light. So I bring it from so many different avenues. Like Dr. Colette said, it can be tangible or intangible. I value the intangible, because what we don't see, we don't think we have. Mm-hmm. What we don't see, we don't even know. Mm-hmm. It counts. So I bring all that together under one umbrella in whatever way I can. And this particular time with Top Agency, I'm bringing myself to the young people, the little ones. Like yesterday, oh my God, feeding those little ones touched my heart. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing that to the older people with Top Agency, which this was an amazing opportunity. Need I mention, it came to me like a last minute. I'm always impromptu, so it was no big deal. Oh yeah, it was no big deal. I'm like, we got to go home, David. I'm coming. So that's how I bring it to them. I give them the knowledge, because my mother used to tell me in my language, nobody would take knowledge from you. Mm-hmm. It's yours. Nobody would take information. Then they take it and run. And then I support them in whichever other way I'm able to.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, looking at that, how does success feel like in your field? Like, how do you feel like, okay, with this one, this was a success?
Ooh, I like that one too. Good. Success to me is to see the joy and smile in that person. When they're healthy, they smile. Mm-hmm. They're happy. I know that because it all comes from your unconscious mind. It's all connected. So I don't even have to ask. Like we're feeding the kids yesterday. They're smiling. I'm grabbing their plate, putting the food. I'm like, they're excited. Mm-hmm. That to me, I know I'm doing something and they're getting something out of it. And at the same time, I'm giving them some love. I'm patting them on their back. I'm giving them I'm giving some hugs, the ones that let me. So all that together, it does, like I said, it doesn't have to come in big things. It could be intangible or tangible, but that's how I can tell. It glows. You look at their eyes, you look at their smile, you look at their sensory acuity, you just observe.
All right, that's beautiful. Now let's come to Justin. You are a voiceover artist. I wanted to put it in past tense, and then I remember you're still a voiceover. So you have done this for about 30 years or more.
Yeah.
And in this current generation, especially in a developing country, most of the time when you're into the creative economy, you want to do something creative. Maybe you want to be a content creator, you want to be a dancer, you want to be a voiceover artist. Most of the time, your parents will tell you, no, that's not a career.
That's
That
exactly
is
right.
that is
Yeah,
not,
they're like, don't do that.
yeah.
Don't
So
do that.
how do you manage to empower young people who want to venture into the creative industry? That, you know what, this thing can pay your bill.
Yes.
How do you get to convince them, and parents also,
Yes.
the guardians?
That's a great question, because often, even in America, just like here, parents really, out of the love for us, want the best for us. So they fear. So they're actually instilling their fear, but from a place of love, that this may not work out and I want you to have the best life. So don't go down a struggling artist path, right? And that is the voice often that stays with us. And so what I love to do is, like Colette said, it's ask questions. So when people come to me and say, hey, I want to, often they're coming later in life now, which is because we work from home. Voiceovers changed. We used to work at a studio. Now it's more accessible to more people, more Kenyans, more Americans living anywhere because we work remotely. It's a global industry now. And so the switch has to happen when our young people realize that I have a dream, whether it's to be an actor, to be a voice talent, to be whatever it is, a doctor, whatever it's going to be. That's not going to pay my bills right away. So the job that I have could be a tuk-tuk driver, could be a babysitter, could be whatever that is not a waste of time, because it's not your dream. It's the investment in the dream job. Mm-hmm. And I think as a mother myself, I try to teach that to my children when they're like, I don't want to wait tables because I'm a videographer. I'm like, you're going to wait tables because that's the investment in the dream. In fact, it's better to have a job that maybe doesn't take as much brain power, so you can bring your energy to your creative field, but you also are empowered because you're earning money. Mm-hmm. And money, unfortunately, is power, but we get this, so we have to debunk that myth that it's not going to work out, because that voice will stay with us and will run the show. We call that shadow work. I'm also a transformational meditation facilitator. And it's that little voice that might seem tiny, but it is running the show. It's making all the decisions for you. So to tell the parents, like, let them, just like my mother said, go to drama camp, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe she just wanted to get me out of the house for the summer. I don't know. But she allowed me to do something I was in fear of, because it's usually our fear, it's our parents' fear, it's our fear that's stopping us. So how do we use the fear as fuel so we don't stay in a car where we've got the foot on the gas and the brake at the same time? We can't go anywhere. That's that feeling of stuck. So when you're hearing yourself say, I'm stuck, what can I do to, the fear is the goal usually. It's driving us somewhere. So we got to use it as fuel, literally put it in the gas tank and go. Mm-hmm. I hope that answered that for you.
Yeah. How does it feel like to have your talent pay your bills?
It's really incredible. It's really incredible. And, you know, as a somewhat successful voiceover artist, I still had doubt. In America, we can sometimes make a lot of money. And here in Kenya, I'm sure that's true too, if you do national commercials or big things that might pay what we call residuals. So there's residual income. Early in my voiceover career, I had very big commercial jobs that paid a lot of money. Guess what? Still got scared. I was making money as a voice talent, and somebody came along and said, hey, do you want to open a franchise with me? And I said, yes. And I spent a lot of money. I'm not even going to say the amount. I borrowed it to go do something I was not passionate about. And you know why? Out of fear. Mm-hmm. So fear makes us do very crazy things. And I look back at that time, and I could have spent about 10% of the money that I spent on that franchise on my voice, mm-hmm. which is really, and I love to teach too, because when I teach, I learn. So if I can coach you to find authenticity in your voice, and that's what comes in with the content creation you talked about. It doesn't matter if you want to be a voiceover talent behind a microphone like I am right now, or you just want to create or have your voice heard. Your authentic voice that can come from confidence will help you in job interviews, help you take your time when you speak, even though I do speak fast sometimes. Those are all skills we can control. You can also learn to control your dialect. You know, if there's someone from Kenya who wants to have a broader range of jobs, they might learn from a coach, be willing to ask for help, as Isabel said earlier, be willing to step up and have your voice be heard, because magical things can happen. When you speak what you need, you can manifest what you need.
All right, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Now let's come back to you, Dr. Paulette.
Yeah.
When it comes to helping young people, whether it's through their talents, through their professions, how do you help them identify their purpose?
Oh, that is such a good question. Identifying your purpose is okay, there's this really cool word that I love. It's from a Greek philosopher, Aristotle. It's called telos.
Mm-hmm.
Telos is your ultimate purpose or aim. It's the essence of who you were created to be. And in the animal space, like there's, a lion, the lionness of a lion, or the elephantness of an elephant. They have different needs and different essences, right? You can't ask a lion to do something that you're going to ask an elephant to do, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we as individuals also have a telos, and that's like the essence of who we were created to be. Now, what we do might change over time. Like I had different paths on my career and different opportunities presented themselves, and I was able to say yes to opportunities, even though they might not have been completely in line with my purpose, but I was still living out the essence of who I was created to be. I had those unique characteristics that I had when I was 2 years old, right? I loved to lead. My dad used to call me General Mighty Mouth, right? I know, I didn't like it when I was young, but I actually have learned to embrace it because I had a natural leadership ability at a really young age. And I also loved to use my voice, and I loved to be a voice for those who didn't have a voice. And that has been with me throughout my entire journey, various jobs. And I had a lot of different career paths. And in a lot of instances, I felt like the odd one out. I felt like I'm not an expert in this. And I've been in a lot of like multidisciplinary arenas, and I was in academia. So I was with a lot of people who were very intelligent, and, often I felt intimidated by that. Like, I don't know what they know, but I wasn't supposed to know what they knew. I knew what I knew. And everything that I had in my life, all of my DNA, all of my epigenetics, right? The expression of my DNA, the expression of the proteins that turn on and off all of the expression of me, right? The experiences that I had, all of those guided me to be who I was, because I was the unique person who had an answer to a problem that the world had. And every single one of us has that ability. And so when you live in the essence of who you were created to be, those skills, those gifts, it doesn't matter what you do. You might be waiting tables, or you might be living in your dream, getting skills, doing what you love. But who are you being while you're doing what you're doing? That's really important, because when you are in alignment, in America, we hear that word a lot. It's kind of a trendy word, alignment. But what does that mean? It means that you are acting, your behavior is in alignment with who the essence of your soul really is. And like, that means that you get to choose what your character traits are. You get to choose what values you hold dear. Somebody might value money versus family, right? But if you say you value family, but you're demonstrating that you value money, then you're not living in your purpose because you're not in alignment with who you are, right? So identifying your purpose, really, like, just knowing your purpose can change. You can have different jobs, you can say yes to different opportunities, but living in your purpose means being who you were created to be. And that means turning on your light and not dimming your light for anybody or anything, and always letting the true you shine, because you are not created to be anybody else. You're not created to be in competition with anybody else. You're created to live your niche. So I work in ecosystems, right? And in an ecosystem, every single individual plays a very important role. And if one of those individuals isn't living at their highest potential, then the entire ecosystem is suffering because it's not getting the gifts that that ecosystem needs from that intended contribution. So it's our job, it's actually our responsibility to be who we were created to be rather than try to be something we're not.
I love that. That's brilliant. Now let's come back to Flossie. When it comes to helping people, there's joy in helping people, and there's that desire to want to do more of that, because if there's something that someone cannot hide, is joy. Someone can hide their sadness, someone can hide, but they can't hide their joy. But now there comes a problem when you want to have this fulfillment, but then there are challenges, be it cultural, because you traverse different countries, talking to young people, mentoring young people, young and old, of course. But then there comes a times when there are challenges. How do you break past the eyes of these challenges and, get to what you're meant to do, whether it's cultural barriers, societal barriers, sometimes it's just the belief that people have. If you're dealing with a group of women, the belief that men have with women. If you're dealing with men, the belief that ladies have with women, expectations. How do you deal with this?
I love that question. How I deal with the challenges. That's easy. Keep your eye on the price. Keep your eye on the price. What do you think, or do you want, or do you like or love them to get? What kind of shift, transformation, lifestyle, health, whatever that may be, are you wanting for them? It may not be exactly that, but that's what you have in your heart. So when your eye stays up on the price, the rest around you is you don't even see it. It doesn't even face you. Whether they have different cultures and challenges, which I have an experience with that, being from Kenya and living in the United States. So I've learned how to deal with that. To be honest with you, very difficult in the beginning. It was very difficult. However, you learn to work with it. You learn to you get to the next level. You work what you call the imposter syndrome. You work through that. You accept who you are. I'll tell you a little bit and I'll connect to that response. I have a coach, and a coach has a coach has a coach. Even I'm a coach, but I have a coach and a mentor. And she is from Canada. And the first time I went on television, on Facebook, and don't make fun of me.
Was it MySpace?
Don't make
Are you
fun
sure
of me.
it was even?
No. It's actually, listen to this, because it's even worse than that. Because back in the day, I didn't even do that. I never liked social media because I was still Africanized, Kenyanized. You want to say that? I'm like from old school because I'm not young. Okay, so I'm not. So the thing was like Facebook. So I'm writing this book, my book. And she's like, we got to put you on Facebook so we can market it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing Facebook. Now, this is 2020. She's like, what century are you in? I'm like, I get it. But I had refused. My daughter would tell me, I'm like, no. If my family in Kenya needs pictures, I'll mail them, I'll put them text, whatever, like I did before. And she said, we got to have social media, Facebook or IG. I'm like, I don't put my information out there. Anywho, I did. But what she did say, because I had the imposter syndrome. Because to me, being in America, I felt I was seeing I'm different. I speak different. I look different. And I said, who is going to listen to me? Who is going to understand me? Because every room I walk into, they say, where you from? You got an accent. I'm like, I'm tired of answering that question. And because when I tell them, you don't even come and register in the map. Thank you to David and Isabel. They brought it in the map. Because they'll be like, Kenya? Is it in South Africa? I'm like, what? Don't you know geography? Yeah. So all that thing and then more brought that. It's true. So I put the culture up. And I did. And she said, they will listen to you and your tribe will come to you. They'll understand you if they want to. I got a big tribe now. Some of them and more.
And then
so bringing that into you, the question, that built the strength. So that's when I joined Facebook in 2020. That's what I want to say. All righty then, I did. So the thing is, now I don't see that because I got it. I've experienced it. I see humans. I see love. If they're looking at me bad, I don't even notice. I'm just seeing beauty. I'm just seeing we need to get them to be healthy so they can be productive to their society. And I give it in whichever way I'm able to. So it's easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Justin, Flossie got to Facebook in 2020.
Yep.
And
can give you the date if you like. Yeah.
But I have to say, what she's talking about is exactly what I was just talking about. She became very conscious of her accent. So she started telling a story in her head that was not her truth, that was not in alignment, right? Until she realized, wait, this is a story. Because actually just as much people are saying that because they're intrigued by you, because they want to know more. But she's telling herself a story that I'm not enough, or the imposter. Imposter syndrome is the same thing as perfectionism. And it will take us down. And it's, I used to think, oh, I'm a perfectionist. How great. I want things to be perfect. And that's exactly defeating. That's actually another form of fear. Because if I'm not perfect at it, I will never try it. Right? So thank you for bringing that up.
now that we are still on You and Matters social media,
I'm sorry.
we are in a generation where, these days they say that if you're not in social media or if you don't know a thing in tech, then tech will probably replace you. So with the creative industry, how is it like with the transition?
Oh, you just opened up Pandora's box right there, Sylvia. So obviously the thing that comes up in classes that never came up a couple of years ago even is AI. So I'm going to ask you a question. What does AI stand for?
Artificial intelligence.
What's the first word?
Artificial.
Artificial. Artificial. What are we going for with our voices? What are we going for with alignment? What are we going for with our purpose? We're going for authenticity. So our job as voice talent is to bring the authentic, emotional tone into the voice to express your words, my words, the words of a book, the words of a commercial, the words in a video game. So AI cannot breathe. AI cannot emote. And I know they're getting close. So we got to stay one step ahead of it. So in voiceover, that means coaching. I love that Flossie brought up coaching. As great as we are, as much as we have achieved, we all are constantly getting coaching. So mentorship is what we see. And the fact that we get to come here and be an example to mentor the young people is a great, great gift that we do not take lightly, because we can already see the impact over 10 years, what's happening here at Kenyatta University with the impact that the organization with top talent and Dr. Colette is working with to empower this remote work and soft skills, can't be monitored, right? Trust, that's trust. Trust is empowering. We want to empower the women and the men here.
All right. You had to add in the men, others will be on it.
Yeah. But we have a saying too that sometimes the women do a certain thing a certain way, but the men who show up and support the women it's kind of a different thing than the men leading. The women that are leading with the men of support, it lets them show up in a different way and lets us see them in a different way. So keep doing that.
All right. All right. Now, as we bring this to an end, this question all of us will answer this question. It is, what would you not do? I also ask Isabel this question. What would you not do if you're younger, let's say 19, 20 years old, with what you know right now? What would you not have done in your previous years to help you get to your dreams faster? And this will also serve as an advice to the young people. Let me begin with you, Dr. Colette.
Okay, that is such a good question. It's kind of, do you have any regrets? First, can I say one thing? Because I want to just tell all of your listeners that on Monday, we are having a training here at Kenyatta University from 1 to 6 to have an opportunity to get employed with Top Talent Agency. So if you are interested in that, we are going to be training people, and the best of the best are going to have the opportunity to get a job. And that job is a tremendous opportunity to advance and be in a global workforce. So if you're interested, reach out to Dr. Esther in I think it's Global Tourism and Resilience Department. So please do that. Now, okay, to get to your question about what would I do differently? I try to ask myself this a lot because one of the things, my company is called Oceans of Grace, and grace means unmerited favor. What the big realization in my life was that unmerited favor actually happened in the adversity. So the things that I thought were bad choices or horrible mistakes, or at the moment I didn't know, like, why is this happening? Why me? Right? I asked that question a lot. And what happened is I was living in a victimhood mentality. Why me? But in reality, that adversity guided me to my path that was so beautiful and exactly where I need to be. So I have learned to recognize the grace in everything in my life, even the hardship, because it's all a lesson. And Isabel talked about, sometimes we need to ask for help and we have trouble with failing. I had a very, very hard time owning mistakes. Like I was a perfectionist and I did not like to make mistakes. And so one of the things that I did was be really hard on myself when I would make a mistake. And I think that if I could go back, while I don't know that I would, I still don't know that I would, even in like I'm not comparing, we've all had challenges in our life, but it hasn't been easy. Hasn't been easy for my life, even though I recognize that I'm a white woman from America and have, more privilege than most. There's always trauma. And so if I could go back, I would have a lot more grace with myself and give myself a lot more love. And I would remind myself that it's okay to make mistakes because that's how we learn. And honestly, I would prioritize my wellness because I spent a lot of time, like, pain is inevitable. We all are going to have pain, but I spent a lot of time suffering by choice. And that's because I lived in the mentality of suffering. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is all about your mindset. And I would have not, if I could go back, I would change that because I feel like even though I'm exactly where I need to be, I could have saved myself a lot of suffering if I had just recognized that that was a choice.
All right. Suffering is in the mind. All right, Justin. And you'll also talk to us about the cup, but shortly,
Yes.
not briefly. Briefly.
I'm going to say briefly, and thank you for letting me bring that. And then I'm going to answer your question, which is so beautiful. So what we have been told is that 1% of girls here go to college. And what if we could change that? And one of the reasons is because they drop out of school because of their menstrual cycle. And the cup is $10, can last for up to 10 years. So think about how much money that could save. And also, when I spoke with a young woman yesterday, she was telling me that the teenage pregnancy rate is very high because they don't have pads. So often they are doing whatever they can to get them. And that's not only about the getting the pad and not having a pad and getting pregnant. That's about our self-esteem and how it hurts so much for these women's self-esteem in the long run. And that's going to stick with them. So just having this cup, which you can reuse for 7 to 10 years. So couldyu.org is a place to find out more. We have trainers in Kenya that can come to you, and Dr. Esther is willing to lock arms with us. And so just stay tuned for more of that. Okay. We were really excited to bring this initiative here, and it's having major impact because Kenyans need to see it. Okay. Now to your wonderful question about what would I have done differently, and answered beautifully by Dr. Colette. I would have spoken up more. I would have not let things, because those shadow things, those teachers that told me I wasn't enough, those things will come back in other ways, maybe by a relationship or a parent. But I would have learned to stay true to my inner voice more. And it took me a global pandemic to sit still long enough to really understand what I wanted and needed, that I wasn't living a life of alignment. Even though I was making money with my voice, it's even more ironic because I still wasn't connected to the most important voice, which was my inside voice. So I would have learned to connect those two earlier, but I also say there's no regrets. There's a great word that I think I made up called opportution.
Okay.
Opportution is the connection between what we are prepared for when the opportunity shows up. So when we have the desire to do something, start preparing. Maybe you don't know why, but just get in the preparation, because you don't want the opportunity to show up and you're not ready for it. And I use this with audiobooks a lot, because if you want to do voiceover, you need to start training and coaching, even though you don't know where it's going to go. Then the opportunity will show up and you can say, yes, I have a home studio. I know what I'm doing. Otherwise, the opportunity shows up and I say, goodbye. There it goes. So that's my biggest advice. We don't always know why we're doing things, but if we can get in alignment with what we really, really want, we take those little actions to get there. And that's where we can take advantage of opportunity. So often the risk remains greater to stay tight in the bud than the risk it takes to bloom.
All right.
And that's by Aeneas Nin. I stole that. So bloom, my little Kenyans, bloom.
Bloom. That's brilliant. I love that, because personally, I've lost so many opportunities by not being ready. Someone gives you, Silva, I want you to review a book for me. And then I'm like, oh, you want me to review a physics book? Of course, I've done math and physics. But then I'm like, a physics book? No. And then it just passes by. I love that.
Thank you.
Now, we are on you. Okay. What would you not do if you were younger? What would you not do? Or what would you have done differently?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Why? Everything was meant to be just the way it is. Because if I was to have changed anything along the way, I probably wouldn't be here with these ladies. I probably wouldn't come with Top Agency to help my country, my people, to give back what I love. I always wanted to come back and do a mission trip and give back, because I've been a nurse for so long. And I always say, I got to bring back this. It never happened because I was preparing and planning. I didn't have the funds and all that. However, but because it all went the way it was planned to be, here I am. So Dr. Colette said about regrets. That's one thing. I'm a coach. I say that in every class I coached. I coached one this morning at 2:30 because the US was 6:30 p.m. And I always end up my class on Zoom. Pain, struggles, frustrations, all that and more is temporary. And regrets, permanent, right? So I don't want to think I could have done different, and then start regretting. I got it all the way it was supposed to be. And because of that, all the things that I've done and failed, because I failed for quite a bit, quite a lot. You fail for it. I love that because there's always learnings. Even if you don't get anything what it is, you always learn something. There's always a lesson in everything. It's never failure, it's feedback. Okay? So, and that's what was lined up with all those struggles that toughened me. I got thicker skin every time. I got stronger every time. I'm like, oh, I'm resilient. I got the zeal. I got this. And then I got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I'm here now as God planned it to be now. So it would have been 30 years back, maybe. It would have been because I've been younger and cooler. But it's still okay. It's still okay. The message still comes. In whatever time, it still gets there and it comes across. So nothing. And then to add to being ready, my mother, I don't know about your mom, but she might have said it somehow. My mom used to tell me, my mom died in 90.
Oh.
But she used to tell me in my language, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's for you. I'm always ready. I told you I'm impromptu. It is what it is. When it comes, I face it. So it was meant to be. Just nothing would have been different. I'm good with this.
All right. I know you say that you would have changed nothing, but then for me, I get it as in everything, find a lesson.
That's a good one too. Yes.
We're taking it with us.
I call mine learnings, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, ladies.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. I'm sure our viewers are very happy to have you on board, sharing experiences from getting to Facebook in 2020. That's crazy.
Now, it's booming.
All right.
You can follow all of us on Instagram and Facebook now. Yes.
All right. Sure. Now that has been on execution and what really happens on ground, what it feels like to be a mentor, what it feels like to be a trainer, what it feels like to empower a young person, an older person, or anyone who gets to be part of Top Talent Agency.